for discussion. right. We are live here at Ultra Products here in Fairfield, Illinois, with Up for Discussion. This evening, we've got special guest, Rusty Haile, and it's going to be a fun evening, right?
I hope so.
I think so. Lathan, you got anything you want to add before we get rolling?
I was making sure I could hear you. I hear you
You feel good
on the feed. Yeah.
All right.
Well, last week everyone's like, well, we see you, but we don't hear you. So I double checked that. But we're
good on that.
Good to go.
All right.
No, I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add
at this point in time. Go
okay. All right. So this evening, what we called it is Wisdom from the Frontier. Rusty has lived for 10 years.
10 years in Alaska, yes.
And you didn't live in lower Alaska. You lived way up there.
No, we lived in the real Alaska. I lived 35 miles above the Arctic Circle for 4 years in an Eskimo village called Kotzebue that's right on the Chukchi Sea. Then I transferred down to Fairbanks the last 6 years, but that's in the interior. Not Anchorage, where the almost Alaska people live.
Almost Alaska.
So you were definitely up in the cold area.
It was cold.
So the first place what was the name of it?
Kotzebue.
Kotzebue.
And that's actually not an Eskimo name like you'd think. I thought it was for 2 years. It was a Russian discovered it. He did fur trading with the Native Americans, either at the Alaskan Indians or the Inuit Eskimos.
Yeah.
So he thought that'd be a neat place to put a town. Not so much. It's on a little spit at sea level, and they damn near starved to death and froze to death after all the Eskimos left and went back to their camps where he could live.
Yeah.
Baron von Kotzebue, but they named it after him.
In Alaska, just for how my mind works, how far north in Alaska? So you have the lower half, the middle, and the higher.
Yeah, they called the coastal area, which goes clear out to the Aleutian Islands. That's like one whole territory. So if you was in Alaska and you lived in Aleutian Islands, you said Aleutian Islands and we'd know.
Yeah.
Which
is the branch of Alaska that reaches way out towards
just
Russia.
Hundreds of islands.
Yeah.
And then there's the interior, which Fairbanks was the heart of the interior, but also the end of the interior, because there's one road that went up to the oil fields. And that's how Fairbanks basically got started. And
so
they have big stores. They got the Walmarts and McDonald's and the, and they have and it gives a new meaning to one-stop shopping. Like the Fred Meyer store that's up there is the number one out of 800 stores. It's 190,000 square feet, but it did millions a week in just little Fairbanks, 78,000 people.
Wow.
But at 60 below, you really don't want to shop any more places than you have to
in
the winter. And they had everything closed, but a bank, full grocery.
So tell me the name. I'll never remember it of the town.
Okanakachok.
Kotzebue, Alaska.
You're way off.
Way off.
Kotzebue, and you said that's where like the Aleutian Islands come into.
No, the Aleutian Islands is further south. That's just when you was asking about the different areas.
Gotcha.
Fairbanks would be the interior. Aleutians would be down south.
So
Valdez,
how far from the north border of Alaska?
Well, I lived 800 miles north of Anchorage, and Anchorage is in the southern part. And then there's still towns like Seward and Homer where the good halibut fishing is.
Yeah.
It's like a different world down there. But they also get 400 inches of snow.
400?
Yeah.
In a year?
1 year. Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
When you're talking about Valdez.
What's that in feet and inches?
One of my friends in Fairbanks had the best job. I was so jealous because he was a pyrotechnic in the military. So he actually had the codes to the cannons, and when the biologist told him to shoot, he'd shoot and cause avalanches so they could keep the roads clear.
Oh, that is cool.
Because if they messed up, they'd can't drive into spring.
Right.
And everything got expensive. They'd have to fly it in or bring it around on a boat.
So that's 33 feet.
33 feet of snow.
Give or take.
Their temperature barely got below 10 below zero because it's so far south. And in the spring, they have rainforest around that Ketchikan Seward, Homer area.
I
And me, I was above the tree line. We didn't see too many trees. Little birch trees grow
Yeah.
by the.
Yeah.
Other than that, tundra.
I desperately want to go there.
So you lived
really
above
do.
the tree line. So you're talking what, 10,000+ feet?
Well,
Or
I
you're
lived
just
at
far-
no, I lived just a little above sea level, but it's
But
just
you're
that
far
far
enough
north
north.
because of
Like
the
he's
cold.
talking above the tree line
Yeah,
on the earth.
yeah, and you're not the only one that does that. When
I
you
was
say
thinking,
that,
you know,
saying,
we go
you're up
elk
in the
hunting.
mountains.
Yeah.
No,
I
there's
got
just
you.
there's just spongy tundra.
Yeah,
looks
because when
great.
you're out in the Rockies or whatever elk hunting, you know,
And-
you work up towards the tree line. You're talking. It depends where you're at, but you're talking anywhere from 11.5 to 12.
And you're not the first person that's
Yeah.
pictured that and asked me
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
I
when
said,
you-
no, there's just nothing. Little birch trees or
Yeah, when you
around
say
the rivers grow, but other than that,
I need to
there's-
think bigger
That's
above
right.
the tree line on Earth.
Yes.
the whole
Hmm.
Earth. Yeah. So you're
Well-
out in the tundra. So you just dealt with what, brush and
Yeah, a lot of brush.
They
And
have
of
the-
course, you traveled the rivers, and then a lot of people had planes. My buddy Robert Thompson, he had a Super Cub with Tundra tires, so
Mhm.
we'd load it up, make a couple trips. So when we was out caribou hunting, we'd be about average about 120 miles from the closest camp, not town, camp.
yeah.
So but that's no better feeling in the world.
Yeah, that's one thing that fascinated me when you came in here last week and you were talking about being 130 miles from people.
That's what I love that stuff. That's what I want to do.
Oh,
And I love it too. And I miss it. But let me tell you, if you're the guy setting up camp, which is me, because I couldn't fly a plane,
Yeah.
and they'd go and make a second load up for our hunt, when the sound of that plane disappears
It's a lonely
and you're the
feeling.
only one there, you
oh
think
yeah.
it's a feeling for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look around, but it is so peaceful.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because if
It's-
something happens, there's
Well, you just didn't go like on a camping trip around here. You triple
Right.
checked and made sure you had stuff.
Band-aids.
Yeah, you had band-aids, wraps, and 5 different things that could make fires. and-
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one thing I thought that was really cool was you were talking about the different things that you've hunted up there. And you've hunted caribou, you've hunted
Caribou,
you
moose,
you did
wolf,
brown bear. Is that correct?
brown bear. Yeah, and the brown bears in the interior are a lot smaller than the Kodiaks,
Yeah.
right.
but they've also haven't seen people either. So they I was caribou hunting and taking a nap by a stream, and I turned around because they always told me you'd know if a bear was staring at you. I thought, well, how? Well, I woke up and I thought I just had a weird dream, but it felt like I drank 3 Red Bulls. My heart, and I'm squeezing my rifle and I'm looking around. There's nothing in the valley, but I turned around and up on this bluff was about a 6-7 foot brown bear looking at me.
Huh.
And, but he never bothered me, but I didn't sleep too much the 4 hours dark that night. Cause in September, the days are still long. So there's still only 4 hours of dark,
Yeah.
but I didn't sleep 1 minute of them with that bear by camp.
There's
Did you ever deal with, because I know how I can have to rein myself in, especially around hunting. Did you ever deal with when there's only 4 hours of darkness, so 4 hours of night, so you could hunt from daylight till dark?
Yeah, it got dark enough about 12:30 at night. You couldn't hunt till about 4 a.m. And then by 4:30, quarter till 5 in the morning. This is in September, of course, because
Yeah.
you're
Right.
losing daylight every day
Yeah.
at a fairly quick pace.
And my thoughts are, did you ever blow yourself out? Like, because you know how it would be. I'd be like,
oh yeah.
You know
well,
what bothered
I'm
me?
not going to quit hunting until the sun goes down, and you realize the sun's only going to be down for 3.5 hours or 4.
Well, being a working man, I would take my vacations and go nowhere because I already lived where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I every minute of vacation for me was hunting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, but so you just get lightheaded and you just finally just sleep, whatever time it is. But you do that, you lose track. especially if the caribou's, you're glassing them. Pretty
Sure.
soon the whole day's gone. And
Yeah,
you,
I could see myself turn around twice and be like, I've slept 8 hours in 5 days or something. You know what I
that's
mean?
easy to do
And
when you're out there.
and it catch up with you, because my mindset would be, if it's daylight, we're doing some sort of hunt. It may just be sitting.
Fishing's even worse because there's no dark. There's not even that 4 hours. So if you like doze off, it's a weird feeling because you don't know if it's okay. Say it's 3 o'clock. Oh, you have to really get your bearings. Is it 3 a.m. or 3 p.m.? Was I just so tired I slept hours and hours, or did I sleep an hour?
Oh, because during fishing
You didn't
season,
know. Yeah,
there's
you're
no dark?
fishing. You're outside. It's daylight,
Huh.
and then you look, and you didn't know if it's a.m. or p.m. for a while.
Wow.
That's a weird feeling.
Yeah, because it don't get dark.
Because sometimes you sleep and you think you took a nap, and dang, you're so tired from days of fishing. Dang, you slept 10 hours.
Huh.
Yeah, because now I lay in bed. I wake up almost every morning at 4:30-ish, quarter to 5. That's just kind of my internal alarm clock.
That's mine.
I think because I got up and worked so many years, that was the time you got up. I went to work. But now, like, if I'm not going to go hunting that morning or something like that, I use the sun as my, all right, I'm going to go ahead and start moving around. You know, I may be awake pretty much the whole time, but I look out the window and I start seeing the sky turn orange. I'm like, all right, going to get up and get a cup of coffee and sit on the couch. Or
I'm an early riser myself, but in the summers was the hardest on me. The 24 hours of dark, since I worked managing grocery stores or bush stores, I was inside and lights on. But the summertime, I did not sleep enough because, like I said, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock p.m. 3 is all the same light. It was just 3 o'clock in the morning. You get up, get a drink, be about half asleep, and the sun's bright, and I'd be wide awake.
Yeah.
So you'd put aluminum foil over your windows that wouldn't let any light in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And you had the shades where you turn them by hand. So every hour you walk by and close them a little more. Like trick yourself to make it think it's evening until they're shut. And then that part of the house is dark and you can
go to bed.
That's what I had to do.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Didn't Robin Williams do a movie called Insomnia when he was in Alaska?
I could relate to that.
And he couldn't sleep. It turned him into like a psycho or something like that.
But if the salmon come in as 24 hours of daylight and you got to fish, and when they come in hard, you'd get a $15 permit where you could go scoop them. It's about 2-hour drive south. I'm trying to think of the little town, but you could dip net the salmon out.
Really?
You had to tie yourself to a tree and use a 15-foot. You didn't want to go by yourself because you couldn't see an inch in the water. It looked like milk because it was glacier water melting.
Mm-hmm.
But they come in so thick, you would get 3 pink salmons, 2 silver, 1 king, and the chums you could get 5. And all the species come through at a short period of time. Locals can get a permit for $15. But if you fall in, you're dead. So you didn't want to, you wanted to trust your buddy with the rope.
Because of the cold water?
And because the water runs so fast.
Gotcha.
And you don't see the fish. You're pitching. Oh, you see all these stuff. You don't see any. You just stick it into you fill them, boom, your net and pull them out. And sometimes there's so many, it killed me because there'd be so many you'd have to just turn it over and let them out because you couldn't pull them out because the current. And a 15-foot handle.
Yeah.
But when you want to see what you had to let loose.
Right.
Because you're picturing that 70-pound king being in there.
Yeah.
It was either it killed you to let him go or it would literally kill you.
Yeah.
Just pull you in
and you took
water.
an extra net that is expensive because they is made different than our regular. It wasn't like a bass boat net. It was a different rig.
Yeah, it'd have to be with a 15-foot handle.
Yeah.
Man, you've lived an interesting life.
Yeah. Well, and most of this is because I'm an outdoorsman and that's the people I hang around with. And the ones that grew up there, I got along with.
Yeah.
But the people in Alaska, you got to be a little strange to live in Alaska.
I've heard that.
So I fit in fine.
So between all them salmon, there was different kinds of salmon.
Mhm.
See, I'm so oblivious to that world.
Yeah, the silvers would be
silver salmon,
silver, and then the chum and the pinks.
chum,
And the chum would be the lowest quality, but they're still good. But the kings are just the big daddies. I caught some, 45, 50 pounders with the rod and reel before.
Wow.
And the kings are just as good to eat as the pinks.
Yeah, well, they're really good quality. They're just humongous. Everybody wants to catch a king.
Right.
I love salmon.
Yeah.
I like me
And the
Kristen
Eskimo women, they
on a
do the
kick.
slices and they make jerky, but they put them over the rails and the wind dries them out.
Oh, so it's like a biltong.
If
Salmon
you see it,
biltong.
I should have brought some pictures, but yeah, they fold them over and they do slices with the ulu. Their knife's round. That handle's on top and it's
Yes.
half round.
Yeah.
And they do it so fast and cut them fish while they're talking. Like I'd be like this. I wouldn't have any fingers left. But after it dries out, it's like jerky, except it's salmon. And it tastes so good.
Huh.
Well, people love it or hate it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I tell
Do
you,
they season it,
and-
salt it or something? Or
what's up?
do they season it and salt it? Or
Nope, just let the air dry it. And the
just dry it.
salmon's got that oily
Yeah.
Yeah.
taste, and it's never dry. It's not like hard. It's
Yeah.
just like, just good quality. And then you just keep it all year.
I
It's just
enjoy
like
good
jerky,
smoked
except it's salmon.
Did they smoke it much up there?
They put fires with some of them. You could taste a little smoke that I actually preferred when it's like that, but they just did that to keep the bugs off.
Yeah.
So if it was windy, they didn't even build the fires. They just let it dry out and flip them over to cut them in half and do their slits so they dry and get your strips. Good eating.
Oh, I dig that.
And for all those ladies out there, it makes your skin soft and pretty and your hair, because
fish
salmon's
oil,
got that natural fish oil,
Huh.
yeah.
What they call that? It's a omega-3.
Greasy.
Yeah.
Greasy, yeah.
And you eat a lot of it because it's plentiful. So you can
We talked before, but I got to thinking as we're sitting here and you got to be with the natives from the area, I guess
Mhm.
you'd say. And I've seen where they're big on eating seal.
yeah, they love it. And let me tell you about seal.
I was going to ask you if you ate any seal.
Okay,
did
I've ate whale, I've ate seal,
I didn't know if you hunted any seal
and I'm
with them.
strong stomach and I'm polite and I like to try anything and I can choke down about everything. But let me tell you, seal oil's their favorite and stinky flipper. You know what stinky flipper is? You're going to say no,
Okay.
because I didn't either.
Yeah.
When they get a seal, they go seal hunting, they bury it head down. And when you drag it across the snow, it's solid. Their tail's like this, solid, like a board, because they're dragging it from where they shot it.
Yeah.
They put it in front of their house on Front Street. And in the spring, when the tail gets down and touches the body, it's nasty because it's fermented.
Yeah.
And then that's when they eat it.
Huh.
So
hold on.
they call it stinky flipper because it stinks so bad. If we had a piece this big around, your whole building would smell like it 3 days later.
Huh.
And
Let me go through this one more time. Make
Okay.
sure I understand you. I'm assuming they dress it, like gut it. No.
no, they're dragging the seal.
I
It
love
comes
it.
out of the hole. They shoot it in the head. They grab it. They throw it on their sled and drag it behind their snow machine. They don't have snowmobiles. They're snowmobiles. They call them snow machines.
Yeah.
And they drag them usually 4 or 5 miles from where the good seal hunting was from Kotzebue. And I'd watch them come in
To back to their home.
to their house right in town. And one guy'd hold them up. The other guy'd pack snow up about a third of the way up the body. So they just
So they just bury them in the snow.
They just buried their head in the snow, so they're sticking straight up. And when they was ready to eat the flippers, which stinky flipper is an accurate name, it's after it thawed out and then touched the body, then it was ready to eat.
So at that point, was it in snow still?
No, they just fall over and
Huh.
as soon as the tail was flexible enough to, and then they take the oil and it looks.
I don't know if I'm ready to move on from that yet. So they don't take the guts out.
No.
They just set it in the snow upside down. Is there a reason for it being upside down?
So they would know when the flipper thawed out enough to touch the body.
So when the flipper touched,
so they knew they start eating this. And then
how does it not make it? How does that
no,
not make them
people
sick?
die every year. Elders die every single year.
Now it's making more sense.
The state has, but it's tricky because they're subsistence living.
Yeah.
So tell them no, even though they got all the proof of the bacteria and that it's rotted meat, basically they're eating, but they swear the flavor's good.
I mean, there's lots of places in the world that eat stuff like that.
Yeah, and their seal oil, they boil the fat and it looks, and their favorite thing to do is come to the store and get Ritz crackers and they boil the oil and put it, and it looks yellow and it looks like vegetable oil or something. But mister, when they unscrew that lid,
it's stinky.
It stinks and it's an oily, you can't get it out of your clothes. I mean, just being around somebody eating it. And I got a strong stomach and I tried and I've ate whale, muck tuck.
Did you try the stinky flipper?
No, because thank God that was like a delicacy. So they didn't give it out very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I ate a couple crackers dipped in the seal oil and I had that taste in my tongue. I won't be poaching any seals because I have to have it. I'll just put it like that.
So did they eat any fresh? Like just butcher one and eat it fresh?
Yeah.
Did you have it? You didn't have it that?
No, because most of it is so much fat because they're waterproof. So most of it was the fat.
Yeah.
That's why they get the seals. And then there's Eskimo ice cream. Looks just like vanilla ice cream. White, put blueberries in it. Looks like you're going to put it on a calendar. Beautiful. They set that dish and you think, boy, that looks like vanilla, and it looks snow white. It's the kidney fat of caribou ground up with blueberries put in it. So it's caribou fat and blueberries. So when you get your spoonful, the texture looks, and your mind's saying it's ice cream and it's called ice cream. I'll try this and I'll be polite.
Yeah.
No, it's ground up caribou fat.
How was that?
Tastes like you put blueberries in lard to me.
Yeah.
It was a way to sweeten up the lard.
Ate it. They didn't give me a lot, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, that probably a lot of that stems from that was a way of life there.
That's what they did to survive.
That's how they stayed alive.
I mean, they figure it out every possible way. And some of the stuff over the generations, they acquired a taste for it.
Yeah. It's like a person that drinks coffee for the first time. Most people don't like it.
Yeah.
And then once they drink it, they're like, oh, I love coffee. I love black coffee. I love the bitter, whatever.
I still don't know if I like it.
I like it, but I don't. I don't know if I like what you said. Could you ever get past and acquire a taste for stinky? They call it stinky flipper.
That's what they call it. They call it stinky flipper. And
so if I went to Alaska and I said, "Has anybody got any stinky flipper?"
They would. If you was now in the lower part of Alaska,
if I was in real Alaska,
but yeah, the real Alaska up around where I lived.
But
there's only 3% white people up there too, so it's you're
so you're the minority up there for
sure.
sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, major minority. Yeah.
So primarily Inuits,
Inuit, Inupiaq, and Athabascan Indians.
Okay.
2 are Eskimos, and the Athabascan Indians are Indians.
Are there any African Americans?
Further south, so there was no Indian. They don't like each other, so.
Are there any African Americans up there?
Yeah, there's a couple that work at the airports and that.
Yeah.
But eventually, and I had a little Mexican guy, the nicest guy, Jesus, come in, said, I need a job at the store. And he looked, at first glance, he looked like an Eskimo.
Yeah.
But he was obviously Mexican. I said, there's a story why you're 180 miles from the closest road from Mexico asking me for a job. You didn't come up here and already have it lined out.
Right.
I said, I'll give you a chance. And I hired him. and he was the little 5 foot. Worked hard. I was so sad when the state police flew in and got him because he got drunk and hit a state policeman in the state of Washington, busted the bottle and put him in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
So he was
running.
hiding.
So he was
kind of in
hiding
the right
in
spot.
Alaska.
If he hadn't talked, and you obviously knew, you know,
Sure.
he is Mexican. he
Yeah.
would have
I've heard that there's a bunch of people in Alaska that are running from the law.
it is the old West relived.
Yeah.
When you're talking Arctic Alaska.
Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of people.
Yeah, I liked it.
So you said that you told us that earlier, and I'm just rehashing. You use that phrase that way up in there, and what you call the real Alaska
Mhm.
is literally like the old West in places.
Yes.
So
'cause
I mean, obviously, to
the-
some degree, explain that.
you
I
go
guess.
to the bank, it's a federal bank just like anywhere else.
Mhm.
And you go and you wait in line, and there'll be people intoxicated with automatic 223 Rugers with the gun of choice with the banana clip in there.
Like the Mini 14.
I don't think you'll go to Fairfield Bank and see too many people drunk with an automatic weapon.
hanging over their shoulder.
And the girls would just scold them.
You'll see them drunk, but just no automatic weapons.
Yeah, with automatic weapons. And
Well, but it's probably not a common thing. I mean, I'm sure there's been somebody in the bank locally that's been drunk before, but you're saying it's common to go to the bank and somebody's got a Mini 14 hanging over their shoulder.
yeah, if it's hunting season, they're all going to have their guns strapped down, whether they're drunk or sober or that.
Yeah. What's the
Sounds like my kind of people.
what's the laws there?
Oh, the law's against it. It's a federal bank, so it's just the same as Fairfield.
but nobody's going to say anything.
They just overlook it because
Yeah.
it's
the norm?
it's the norm.
What's the law though concerning like concealed or open carry? Is there open carry there? They just pack.
They just pack. They're strapped to the snow machine. They come in shopping with the store in them. There's no, and I guess I never really asked when the guys I hunted with, his neighbor was a state policeman, but they got their own planes and that was, so them state policemen, they're rugged because everybody you have contact with is armed.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a
Everybody.
different-
And usually it's domestic disturbance, and if you got somebody really drunk and you fly into the village and they know you're coming because you got
Sure.
a file flight plan, even
Yeah.
state police. So
Huh.
everybody in the village knew. So they'd hide all the alcohol if it was a dry village, and they knew before you was coming.
Hmm.
They had bigger fish to fry than to worry about people that's not acting up, I guess is the
Right.
best way to put it. So
Yeah.
guns and that, yeah, I could, even being, a white guy, I could walk down the street with them and
Nobody said anything.
nobody would
It's just
say
the normal.
anything. No.
Well, my next question is not to get political, but if everybody's packing automatic rifles on their shoulders and strapped to the hilt on their sidearm and all that stuff right out in the open,
Very few crimes.
was there a lot? Yeah. I mean, you
No,
don't have-
shooting crimes, no.
No,
Yeah.
ain't that crazy? Think of the logistics of that. Everybody's strapped to the hilt, packing openly, Mini 14s and whatever.
Yeah, and there'd be boys 12, 14 years old that's just starting to hunt. You'll see them go by on their four-wheeler with it across their handlebars, duct taped on because
Yeah.
they're going caribou hunting.
Right.
12, 14.
It's just the norm.
Sounds like my
And-
kind of people.
Yeah, and I don't want to stray there, but it's just like, and there's no major crime of that nature.
No.
Nobody walking in stores and shooting people and stuff
No.
like that.
No, even statewide, even down on the road system. No, if there's any of the federal laws that's up there that pertain to guns, they're just written, but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, it's such a way of life for one. I
Yeah.
mean, half of the animals up there are big enough to stomp you, eat you, or kill you.
You
one
don't
way
want to
or-
go around even in any part of Alaska because of the bears and the moose, which the moose mama moose kill more people, about 2.5 times more than all the bears put together.
Yeah.
'Cause of
Really?
they're so big, and they're
Yeah.
just the moose, female moose, and mama moose are ornery.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, you see all kinds of videos, of a mama moose.
Sure.
Like, I mean, you think of that cloven hoof swinging
Yep.
through the air at however fast they can swing that
The
thing.
cleaver.
Yeah. I mean, smack you upside the head and you're dead.
Yep. And they're almost 7 foot tall.
Is there much, you don't hear about this, and someone, you don't want to get all your information from like National Geographic. So getting information from somebody that was there, is there much like wolf human encounters, like where a wolf attacks people or something like that?
No.
I was gonna say,
Zero.
Yeah.
Negative, no, because you got excited, and almost everybody got excited when you even seen them. And we've had caribou down in the valley, and we've heard them, and even to get a little miniature glimpse of one, and if they see you, they're gone. I don't care if you're field dressing a caribou and you're spring hunting, which means snow, and you're on the snow machine and you hear them. They've never come, and nor have I heard of anybody that was even lived out and born out in
that
the,
was
in the
hunted
bush
or got into a pack of wolves that wouldn't leave them alone.
that bothered them.
Yeah. And it's like a different wolf up there. We're talking big wolves, right?
Big
We're
wolves,
not talking,
yeah.
I don't know.
Would that be timber wolves up there? Or?
That'd be timber wolves. Yeah, they're big. But most of the sled dogs up there are part wolf. So you didn't go up and pet anybody's dog because, and they take them serious. They can't eat dog food, so they'd have the big burn barrels and build the fires. And because my neighbor Kevin Baker, when I lived up there, he was just up and coming on that. But I look out my back window, and I'd see him out there like 3 o'clock. Well, it'd be dark. Didn't matter, 3 o'clock in the morning. But he'd be building his fires to pour the meat and the caribou and the fish to stir to feed these 15 dogs he had. Like, that's too much work.
Yeah.
That's a real man out there.
Right.
But he won the Iditarod a few years later after I moved out.
No kidding.
But I watched him when he was younger guy and doing it. So he earned it. But there he is. I'm watching the Iditarod. There was my neighbor coming in first place.
Yeah. Is there a lot of people still running sleds up there?
Yeah, lots of them. Yeah.
I mean, obviously you get to a certain place where even a snowmobile, because it's limited by gasoline, you can't go so far and get them.
And everybody's got a snow machine that does anything, and you can zip, because they go so fast. And the trails are nice, and they got them marked between the villages. So even in bad weather, you can see the next reflective pole. For miles and miles, they do that.
Wow.
So you just follow the reflectors.
Solid, yeah. You don't want to get off because there could be a log or something, and you could just bust your forks. Right. So you tried to stay on the trail as best you could, but they go all the way from one village to another. And I had a unique friend that lived up there that was a survivalist, end of the world, doom and gloom.
Yeah, doomsday prepper. Yeah.
And he had the map where you could go from which village all the way and get clear to Montana from the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
He had it mapped out on his wall at his house. Yeah, he's unique.
He was ready.
He's ready and expecting it daily.
I would think the goal would be to end up in Alaska rather than to go to Montana. That's a strange thing to me.
One way or the other.
Because his family was in the lower 48.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't know why. I'd usually, when he talked, I usually just said, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a little different.
That was going to be one of my questions, since you're right there. Have you ever done the drive, or you just always fly in?
No, I drove up the Alaskan highway. You hit the Alaskan highway in Canada, and it's just a 1,580 mile gravel road up till you get to Tok.
Wow.
The military built. It's wide, but you do not drive up the Alaskan highway. I did it twice, but you go up through around the Tetra. Beautiful drive, takes forever. But just after you get in Canada, that road where the Alaskan highway starts, it's over 1,500 miles, take you almost to Tok. Wide gravel, and they have straightened it I always check what they did to it every year.
Right.
But it's wide. I mean, semis. There's room for 3 semis, but it's 2 lanes. So they're wide most of the time. But
how fast can you drive on it?
Well, there's spots you can drive 70. And then there's spots that you don't drive 70.
Yeah.
And then you go up elevation and down mountains. But they've straightened it out a lot from when the military first built it.
So 1,500 miles on gravel.
That's from, I figured it up. and I lived in Maine. So my house at Horse Creek, all the way up to Brunswick, Maine, is the same distance. So that you'd be like leaving Southern Illinois and driving to Maine. That's how far the gravel road is.
Wow.
To put it in perspective,
Yeah.
that's a long drive.
How long would it take you from here to get there?
Oh my gosh. From leaving here,
It'd be like 3 solid days of driving.
oh well, it was actually about, I would take like 10 days. So I wasn't or your body just the driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had to drive and just it would be a good 3 to 4 days if you just wanted just to
Push through
Yeah,
get
it.
from
to be
point A to
exhausted.
point B and be up in Tok, Alaska. And then you still got a long drive to anywhere you're going,
Yeah.
because you still got another day and a half to get to Anchorage, which is almost Alaska.
You're almost there.
So part of the reason why I brought you on here is not only were your stories intriguing, but a little bit of selfishness, because Lathan and I really want to do a moose hunt. And I know that you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your experience?
Well, if you're going up there and spending that kind of money, go in September where you can, but see, you can start hunting moose some in August in some areas.
Yeah.
So you have to take the rigs, but try to get an area that has moose and caribou both.
Okay.
So do your homework, and and dollar wise, there's areas better than others, but the caribou still migrate. So you're still going to have to go a little bit on the northern side, but that's where the big moose are.
Yeah.
The Alaskan moose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anywhere around the Mount McKinley North area, up through there, through the brook, anywhere in Brooks range,
Okay.
you got a pretty good chance of both.
Now, what's the system like in regard? Is it a draw system?
No, you just pay your money. That's how it used to be. Now it's been like, I was up there like 2002 to about 2012, I think.
So is there public ground?
What?
Is there public ground or?
Yeah, there's public ground. And then there's, because I assume you guys want to do a self hunt.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So every area is different, but the Alaska Fish and Game have a wealth of information. And most of the people I've ran across there are really, they like to help people, and that's
Sure.
why that's their dream job. So they
Yeah.
enjoy doing it, and they like
Right.
helping people. So, but if you're going to stick to moose, you'll want to go probably in more the southern part. Moose are still big, and it's easier to find them.
Yeah.
In
The southern part.
Are you guys
of the
bow
northern
hunting
part?
both? Or are you going to do both? Take your gun and your bow and try for a bow?
Well, you
or-
about have to take both. I mean, you got to have a gun, right? You don't want to be up there without a gun.
No, you don't want to.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have a gun, and you might as well take a gun that is suitable for a moose.
Yeah, and you don't know if there's going to be a mean bear coming. I
Right,
mean, you
that's-
can't get a tag. And if you're brown bear hunting, it's illegal if you're not a resident not to have a guide.
Yeah.
So,
But
But
we
that's
don't
your-
have to have a guide in a certain place to moose hunt.
you didn't used to.
Yeah.
So, but the first 4 years I hunted, I was above the Arctic Circle, and they're way lax. They're just,
Yeah.
but there's so few. And the Native Americans, unless somebody was just shooting some leaving them lay. Other than that,
Yeah.
they was pretty lax on them.
Now,
But
I don't know.
But if you just doing an Alaska moose, there's some good areas. Well, the whole state's got them,
Yeah.
and they're the bigger moose.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't care if it's down south where the weather's nicer, or if it's in the Arctic. Arctic, of course, further north, no roads, more expense. But if you're just going for the moose, I'd guess just stick to the road system.
So
Are you guys gonna
so you're
drive or
saying
fly?
the south side of Alaska.
The rainforest, through the rainforest, down Seward, and through all there. Down there, it's warmer weather.
Mhm.
Lot of rain in the summer.
Is there places there they can take you and you can do like them float back on a
There
raft
is
type?
a lot of drop you off floats. Even in the Arctic, they got them. Because once in a while I'd be out the village and one of the big yellow rafts would go by, and sometimes they'd be toting another raft with moose and caribou both in it.
Oh, see,
I
that's
thought, dude,
I
I think I live up here and I'd do that just to float and see the scenery. And
Oh,
well, I've watched some of those hunts where they fly them way upstream, like hunts. Like I think one was like 100 and some miles. They flew them.
They
up
go
there,
that far,
and they put them in, and basically what they're going to do is float all the way back down.
Because the moose go to the river, and there's a good chance of getting a
they would
shot
just
at a big
one we watched together. They would just float, and they would pick good places. They'd pull off, and they would do like some perimeters around the river.
Yeah, you got. I was gonna say, get your can or your coffee can with your string in it and pull it.
And they would pull their rafts over, and they would just do a little look around, be like, "Hey, there's been moose crossing the river here." So they would just build a camp
and
maybe stay there for 2 or 3 days.
And be honest, when we went moose hunting in the fall with the boat, we'd go clear up to almost the north slope, just because it was on the road, and we'd put in and with our boat with gas. And that's what we did. We just went till we seen a place we could see a lot.
Yeah.
Or some trees tore up.
Right.
And try to find a place with a hill and climb up the hill. And then you can look down the river and say, oh, 3 bends. See all them ponds? There's probably a moose there.
Yeah.
So that was the best. So hunting like that is a very good way to hunt.
Yeah, I would like that.
Is there any kind of cell phone service up there?
What's that?
Is there any kind of cell phone service? Or is it pretty much once you're...
Well,
I mean, surely satellite phones up there. Would Starlink work up there?
I didn't take mine with me.
Yeah.
After I got out. And usually one of the guys I had would have a sat phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For emergencies.
Right. You'd probably want a satellite phone.
You do want to get one, and they make some, and with the newer electronics, they're so much nicer.
Right.
They're way a step above what they used. Old military ones.
Yeah.
The guys I went with, and they work, but they didn't fire them up unless they had to. But I went sheep hunting with the guy that pulled his cell phone out and called his wife, and we was about right at 11,000 feet.
Huh. Did you kill a sheep?
We did not get a sheep. We had 2 the first day that could have been legal, but they have to be full curl.
Yeah.
And I'm not pulling the trigger on could be.
Yeah. So what's the penalty if it's not a full
curl? The biggest penalty is they don't let you hunt for about 5 years.
Well,
and I'm not giving that up, plus a healthy fine.
Right.
So, and sheep meat is excellent.
Huh.
It's very, very good. And the sheep hunting is good hunting.
Better than stinky seal?
I guarantee you better than stinky flipper. Yeah.
That's flipper.
Good. That's good eating meat, that sheep.
So was it doll sheep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got to be up in there.
Yeah, I didn't get one though. Right. I don't have one on my wall.
Right. But
I went a couple times. Oh yeah, I've climbed up, did my own hunts.
Yeah.
Carried the canoe and walked 2 days in and 1 day straight up.
Huh.
I was with a guy that was, and we did our own hunt, but he was from Alaska. I was in really good shape, but you better be.
Yeah. Now hunting doll sheep, I watch all this stuff, and you get skewed information from things you watch, but they somewhere, and it could be just certain zones or units or whatever they call them or areas.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one guy's he was hunting doll sheep, and he could not hunt them. He was not a local or resident. He was a non-resident hunter, and he could not hunt them without a resident person. They didn't even say a guide. But his brother was a resident in Alaska. He's like, well, I got my brother with me, so I'm okay to hunt.
Yeah, that's true.
Without a guide, I think.
Every district, some's a little stricter than others. So, but you just have to, every district, you better know the reds.
And it made it sound like it was in that area that was just pertaining to doll sheep.
Yeah.
You had to have either a guide or a resident of Alaska with you.
So we just need to call up there and figure out.
A lot of it's online now, so you find your area. But I'm going to do some homework, call some of my buddies and say, hey, I got 2 friends that want to come up and see what they say too. So I'll try to track a couple guys down that'll tell me the real the reel going on.
Yeah, because they know. And then like I said, all my information's skewed because I've never got on the Alaskan fishing game. I've just listened to hunters and their experience on YouTube channels and stuff like that. And one guy was like, well, the tag in and of itself, or the permit, or whatever they call it, wasn't that bad. And it wasn't hard to get.
I could go to the lodge. Like when I went up there hunting, when my parents was up there before I moved up there, I remember, now this was in the late 90s, but I walked up to the lodge in the village even, because my dad said he's certified. Some of the other villages don't always have somebody certified to sell them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think I got my moose tag for like $320, but that was years ago.
Right.
So
I'm
I don't
sure
know what
that's
it is now,
changed.
but the caribou, and that was good for 5 caribou, even being out of state only because it was above the Arctic Circle. Below would have been 1.
Yeah.
And it was like $225 or $250. I mean, it's
Yeah. So I'm sure that's changed. But what I heard is like the moose tag's still not outrageous there.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's more than
It's the travel that stops
it's the
so much hunter
travel and
that don't,
the
you
bush
know.
planes getting flied into places and dropped off and all that stuff that is the major expense.
It is. That's where your dollars add up. But the tags used to be really reasonable.
Hmm.
And like after I was a resident, I could only get a brown bear tag once every 5 years if you used your tag. So I never really got the dream bear I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I passed on some I should have shot, but I thought, I can't hunt these again for 5 years.
Sure.
And I lived in the interior, or where I lived up in the Arctic, where the bears was, you could get one pretty easy if you hunted a lot, and they just wasn't that big.
Yeah.
So I thought I always had plans on going down to Kodiak and getting one of them.
Yeah.
Dinosaur bears.
Dinosaur bear.
Well, 1,300
like
pound is
different species of bear. Literally.
The little one I got, the claws are like this, but their claws are.
Oh yeah.
They say 3 inches. They can cut a coconut in half with a swipe with a paw with them claws. 3 inch. That's how strong they are.
Yeah.
Coconut's pretty.
3 inches.
Just stuff flip like that and cut a coconut in half. Might not do real good on your head.
Yeah.
But the bears don't really bother you either. The interior bear, southern interior bears, was known to be mean around the Tok area, just where you come in Alaska. That's where they had most of the problems. But up where I was, they run. They, as long as you don't get between them and their cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you told a story about that.
Yeah, my buddy Roger Horse grew up in Alaska. He's a master guide. And my other buddy was from Michigan, I believe it was, Gene Lunny. And they both got sheep outside of Tok, and they was hiking down. And Roger, being Roger, master guide, grew up in the bush. I think he come to town when he was 12 years old. So he grew up, when I say grew up in the bush,
that's what he knew.
He
was smart and had a deep voice, and my name is Roger, and I want to mess with Roger for sure.
Yeah.
And
never
he
been
got
to town before he was 12.
He got to be a master guide, so he knew what he's doing. And they come through a little clearing, and he stopped, and my buddy Jane's experienced to my level.
Yeah.
We think we're good, but we're really not. And Roger grabbed his gun, and Gene's telling me, said, 2 seconds later, he seen the brush wiggling, but Roger could sense it, something he knew, and he pulled that gun, and he shot 3 shots, and they had gotten between a mama bear and 2 cubs, and the cubs showed up later. They didn't even know it. And the third shot was literally 3 feet from Roger's feet, and it split his leather boot with its claw right between he didn't get a scratch, but he bronzed that boot and put it in his trophy room because mama bear. And the last shot, and Roger being Roger, he could write a book on him anyway. He turned around and looked at my buddy, and he said, I'm all tangled up in my pack and couldn't get my gun. And Roger just flipped his like it's a show. And he said, all he said is he looked at me and said, thanks for the help, Lenny. His name was Gene Lunny.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't even have time to, he said his heart started beating after it was over with.
Yeah.
But he said if Roger hadn't been there, he'd have been dead.
Oh,
Huh.
Busted through the brush. But yeah, his biggest
So Lenny
trophy.
never fired a shot.
No, he never got the gun. He couldn't get his pack off. Roger just hit his chest with the quick release, and he said all he could hear was a zzz, because they had a full pack with sheep on it. So the weight took the pack off, and as the pack was dropping, he grabbed the barrel of the gun, turned it around, and pulled
put
up.
3 shots in.
He said it was a thing of beauty, Gene says, and Roger just did it like nothing.
Yeah.
And he said, "You look at me, and I look like a cartoon." They said, "Literally have the pack wrapped around my elbow and
trying to get on his back off.
Look like I'm in special needs." He said, and he said, and just the way, he said Roger never even got excited, but he said the death moan was 3 feet from him. And the sound of that death bone you hear on TV on the hunting shows. Right. He said it's a little different 3 feet away.
I bet you.
From a mad mama, and it died. And he looks down at his boot.
It's split open.
He said Roger was still calm and cool the whole time. Like he's a man.
Yeah.
Roger's a man. He's not a people person.
Yeah.
He didn't like people too much. But
my wife is a sweet lady, but if you mess with her kids,
that's how
everything gets ugly.
And mama mooses are even worse.
Yeah.
And they stomp you. And they'll stomp a car and bust the windows out. If the car gets where they think they're blocked, happens every year, and can't get around very good, they'll just go up and start thrashing and just peel it open like a can opener.
Yeah.
So you give them their space.
I would think so.
And you said about this Roger, I wanted to point that out. You said you said
it's
that
like 12 before he come
you said
to
that
town.
so quick, people probably miss that. He didn't come to town the first time
he lived
until
in
he's
camp.
12. Yeah.
He lived in camp till he was 12. His parents
that's probably my type of guy.
Homesteaders outside of Fairbanks. And I also had an Eskimo kid that didn't come to town till I think he was almost 16. He worked in my store, but I was up there 4 years. Took me a year and a half for he'd say hello. He was that shy. And he worked in the meat department with my buddy Mike McElhaney. And he would go he'd shake his head when I'd talk, but you couldn't ask him a question. He just looked down at the floor and I'd answer you. So if I had something to ask him, he would talk to Mike because he was in the same meat room, and he'd talk to some other natives, but hardly said anything to them. But he was like 14, 15 before he come to town, and they lived. Roger, at least he lived on the lower 48 on the road system. So I'm sure he made it to town like once a year or something before he come to town. But Charles Henry, he didn't see anybody that wasn't his family till he was almost 15.
So let me ask you this.
Culture shock.
Yeah, big time. Is there a stigma about the people that are bush people versus the people that are city dwellers?
Yeah, the bush people the city dwellers, I say we, okay, I earned that badge because I lived in the Arctic Circle. The average contract in the Arctic Circle is 9 months, and I stayed 4 years, so that proves I'm not right anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, they're more, the best way to describe it, if they're like from Anchorage, which is 70% of the state, it's like meeting somebody from Seattle, Washington, or that area. They got their tan. They don't go out too much and do the stuff. Some people move to Anchorage to have jobs so they can, but the percent is low. Now, when you live out, the better jobs, the higher paying jobs are out in the bush.
Really?
Qualified, yeah. But
that's interesting.
But then you got to live out in the bush.
Yeah.
Like for the school teachers and even that.
So they pay like a school teacher better out there.
Yeah, my parents went in. They had worked. My dad got through college at a young age, started teaching at 22 or 23. And Alaska had a program you could cash in all the years you worked in the state you lived in. My parents was both teachers, and the more money. And then it's just like after you worked your first day, my dad had like 22 years in, I believe. So after his first day of working up there, he was credited for 20 years of working in Alaska.
Huh.
And then the money as you went up, and there's only one district above our school, our district. So, and they stayed 16 years.
Wow.
And they was way out in the little villages, 300 people.
Was that above the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, that was
So
further. That was further up
was-
than I was. They was upriver from where I was.
Yeah. So your
So
dad
he
was
retired.
16 years above the Arctic Circle.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
teaching schools, and sometimes in one of the villages, the whole school was taught by my dad. My mom was only two that taught all the grades.
That's awesome. Talk
And then
about being able
like
to mold
Shumack
a-
and had 4 or 5
Yeah.
teachers, 6.
Now, did
Yeah.
your dad pastor while he's up there too?
He didn't pastor, but they did a lot in the church, getting them fired up, making sure the kids had stuff to do. So
Sure.
they was
Yeah.
very respected up there for,
Yeah.
making sure
Hmm.
they set up and kept the church going.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
would speak, but he wasn't an official preacher up
Yeah.
there. But they did Sunday schools, and mostly for the kids because
Yeah.
they knew them all.
Right.
That's
So
cool.
the elders really liked them. They
Very
were really
neat.
respected out there. My dad doesn't hunt or fish. I said, living out there, that'd make. I mean, I could survive just
He
because I
doesn't
like to
hunt or
hunt and
fish?
fish. No,
Huh.
I mean he will fish, but just casual. But
Yeah.
never hunted his whole life.
Man.
How
Living
did
up
you
there-
stumble into hunting to be such a, was it just something from a kid that you,
I loved hunting. I'd head out the door at 12 years old and squirrels and anything
yeah,
and walk the creek, Horse Creek. And it's been my passion. And I have an uncle that moved to Maine, lived by him, that when I was a little older, and I don't know anything. It's just,
We've lost a lot of that. Like,
I
there's
just
not
grew up,
kids that
and
are
that's
doing
what I
that.
wanted to do. I
Yeah.
wanted to hit the woods.
I mean, we have that in common because you could ask my parents. They was like, I don't know what it is with this kid, but I couldn't focus. Like driving down the road, I couldn't do nothing but look for deer. And
yeah,
it's like, is that a day? It's like, what are you doing? I was like, I thought I saw a deer back here in that woods. As a
Yeah.
little bitty feller, and I mean, I tried to kill everything that I could go kill. I mean, when I had a pellet gun,
yeah, oh yeah.
I shot things that there was no way you could kill it with a pellet gun, but it was just I wanted to get out there and hunt. And
I had that 22 Marlin
yeah,
with the clip and had an extra clip. Of course, at that time, you just go to the dime store and give your $48 and walk out with a brand new one. I still got it to this day, but
really,
different times, as
$48.
long as the chores was done, I could head out the house and just.
Uh,
Yeah,
They didn't
walk a
tell you when
circle,
after dark you wanted to be in, but I'd walk up and down Horse Creek and
shoot.
shoot and just. And then I just bow hunted back when very few people bow hunted, and I wasn't good at it, but
Right.
we didn't know. And the equipment is
Daylight
like throwing
and
a
dark.
spear compared
Yeah.
to the new stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
And you
love it.
remember, I mean, I don't know what your age is and you don't have to tell us.
I'll be 62 in
So
February.
you're
I'm
older than
old.
us. I'm 45, but I remember when there was an abundance of rabbits, and that was like my first passion. 'Cause I loved rabbit hunting. I have an aunt, she's still living, but her Christmas present to me every year for years when I was a little feller was a case of shotgun shells.
a
'Cause I
whole
mean,
case.
Yeah.
See then, yeah.
Yeah, she'd get me a whole case because my biggest issue from about the 4th grade to high school, close to high school, one of my biggest issues in my life was I was always out of shotgun shells because I'd rabbit hunt.
Oh,
And
well,
I mean, I would shoot,
Eight-
but there was,
H&R 12 gauge single
Yeah.
shot I carried for years, so you
Yeah.
couldn't blast away. So your
Yeah.
shells lasted a little
a
longer.
little longer, but I was pretty notorious. Like, just you got your rabbits in your pouch, you're walking back to the house and a bird flies by, boom, boom.
You was just
Boom.
hunting.
I was just
You
shooting.
was just hunting. You
I
wasn't
just-
rabbit hunting or quail. You was
Yeah.
hunting.
Well, my primary focus was rabbits, but anyway, I have an aunt. I'm sure she would still tell you she was close. She worked with my dad, crazy enough, in a hog farm business. Brother sister she worked like a man out there on the farm, so I was around her a lot at that point in time in my life. So she'd come over for Christmas, and I knew what I got. She'd
You-
wrap it up, and I could feel the weight of it. I was like, sweet, I got it. At Christmas, I got enough, because rabbit season runs to what, like February something.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got neary enough shotgun shells to last me the rest of the rabbit season. I wouldn't have to hound my parents. Can I go get another box of shells? You know.
Well, a bad day of hunting, because this is pre-coyote government doing their thing and
Yeah, for
releasing all
sure.
the coyotes. So without a rabbit dog and just me going kicking brush and doing, 2 rabbits would be a bad day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't say
terrible day.
that'd be a terrible day when
Yeah.
and quail. So there'd be nothing to come home with 4 rabbits and
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 quail. I
Yeah.
could never shoot them, but I had a single. So you didn't get them the first shot, but
Right, yeah.
you just watched them.
I was horrible.
But there
on
was
quail.
lots of them. Every fence row had quail and rabbits, and now
coveys were 25 and 30 birds.
25, 30 birds.
Now it's 4.
You remember every
6.
single quail you see during the whole bow season,
Yeah.
because there's so few.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, I seen some quail over it. Before it'd be nothing, just going to
Oh.
your stand. But
I've
Yeah.
walked through as a kid, walking to your stand in the dark of a morning and walk through a covey of quail, ride it when they will get up still and fly at the gray dawn, you know, they go everywhere and just almost, you know, mess your drawers. And I bet you I did see some quail this year from the stand. I started hearing them, you know how you can hear them whistling
Yeah.
and talking, and I seen them, you know, 6 maybe birds, you know, zigzagging like they do through some brush or something. But I can't tell you the last time I walked into a covey of birds that like shook me when they come out of the
I
brush.
had one covey this whole year do it, and that's the first time in years.
Yeah.
But I was excited because I don't
see
even
'em.
want to say it, or people be trying to figure out where I was walking.
Yeah,
Then
like
'cause there
a
was
bird hunters come
15
out.
birds at least,
Really?
and that's years since
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
15 birds.
The
Yeah, I
other
haven't
day,
seen that.
Cassie and I were driving around, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was getting out of the vehicle, and in my head, I was like, "This don't make any sense." But there was a dead quail on the side of the road, and I was like, "I want to eat that thing." I'm not opposed to eating roadkill.
I got an uncle. See, he's transitioned to a turkey hunter, but man, he always kept track. You know, like I got my 98th quail the other day. He had them numbered. You know, how many
Wow.
quail he'd kill a year. But there
That was this year he got 90?
no. No, years ago.
Oh, I was
Years
gonna
ago, when
say.
I was a kid,
Yeah.
I would go with him probably, gosh, I was a little fella, just could stomp through fescue to keep up with them. And, you know, I can remember him talking about, I'm on number 97. I'm trying to break 100 today, you know, or whatever. And now, I mean, he don't quail hunt. And he hasn't quail hunted for, gosh, I bet you it's been 20 plus years. And he's transitioned to turkeys. You know, he's a turkey hunting.
I remember the first
phenom.
turkey I seen on the farm, and I didn't know what it was because I didn't know they released any. And that was in the late 80s, I'm going to guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And
The first
off.
one
and I was going to a deer stand, of course, and I didn't even know what it was because
Yeah.
I didn't
we
Yeah.
know
did the-
they'd even released any.
Yeah.
We did the same thing west of Jeff. We went mushroom hunting in the spring for morels. Me and Dad and my brother or my sister. I don't think my little brother was with us because I was pretty small. My little brother's 4 years younger. But anyhow, we were walking up to this woods that we always mushroom hunt. And it would have been, I'm going to say it was 90, 91, somewhere in there. And Dad's like, what in the world is that? It was by a fence row, and it looked at us. You know how they do, bobbed its head and turned around
Yeah.
and looked like the roadrunner leaving. Dad's like, I remember Dad. I didn't see it very good because I was too little in the britches. I wasn't paying attention. And I can remember Dad. I seen a glimpse of it, and Dad's like, I think that was a wild turkey. You know, and I remember it's like what you said. We didn't even know for sure what we seen because we hadn't seen any around here. And your eye and your brain wasn't.
Well, and it
wasn't
was about
computing.
daylight, and it was still coming, hadn't lit off its nest, and it was up above me and come down, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what
was
am I
that?
looking at? What the heck's
Helicopter.
that?
Yeah.
that big. And of course,
Yeah.
it seemed 10 times bigger when it's quiet. And
Right.
it's right next to where my tree stand was that I hand built because you couldn't buy one at the store. Not that
No.
I'm old. You had to build your own.
Yeah. I built plenty of them. There's probably remnants of them out there somewhere.
I still
to this.
got like, I'll be sad when the last couple boards fall out of them ones I built
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Those were the days.
And if you
And
ever
I'm not
find,
that old. I'm not that old, but I'm finally to that place. I can remember when you could kick a multiple rose bush and 3 to 4, sometimes more rabbits
yeah,
would come out from her. There was tons of coveys of quail, and nobody knew what a safety harness was. And most hang-on lock-on stands were made by some guy named, Jim down at the local welding shop or something. And, if you walk through the woods and you seen an actual store-bought stand, you stopped and you were almost like in awe. And we talked about this earlier. I can remember too when we can hunt just nearly anywhere.
yep.
But those days,
I mean, you
those
back
were the days.
in the 80s, you had never really entered your mind to stop and go knock on any doors.
Yeah.
You just went to the creek and you
Yeah.
didn't know who
started
you went
following
on
it.
because
Yeah.
nobody cared.
Nobody
Yeah.
cared.
I mean, nobody cared.
When you ran into people in the woods, they asked you if you'd done any good.
Yeah.
Especially when we was younger, the older guys they'd always say, "You doing any good?"
Yeah.
And they'd
Yeah.
always ask, because this was before 4-wheelers or side by sides, So they'd say, they'd always ask, "Do you need a ride?"
Yeah.
Because they was out in the middle of nowhere, and they knew where the roads were.
Right,
Older guys,
yeah.
That's the first thing they'd always ask. You need a
Yeah.
ride, and you couldn't buy camos. Had to drive clear to McLeansboro, old Army Navy store, because nothing was on the shelves. Zero.
Boy, you missed it there. You were probably just the right age. You could have got in on that.
Yeah,
on that
I
train.
know.
Bill Jordan.
Bill Jordan. I'm a lot nicer than he is.
It could have been.
I deserve that more than he does.
It could have
That's
been,
my opinion. But
It could have been Rusty
just
Hales.
yeah.
Real tree or mossy.
If I'd have used my head instead of worried about
Other things.
other things like getting a new bow or something.
Yeah.
Designing that. That's right. Something as simple as that. Yep, you're
Could have
right.
started an empire. I was sitting here thinking, I said something there. I was like, we have transition. We talk about this on and off through podcasts all the time because I miss some of those things. And I'm just at that age where you had more of it than we had, obviously, because you were in it before us when we were still just little bitty. My grandpa would say, poop and yella, you were probably already out there doing it. But I said, used to, when we bumped into people in the woods, they asked how you're doing. Now, when you bump into people in the woods, they ask you what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it that I've heard. That is exactly right.
Yeah. What are you doing here? And I was like, well, and you may very well be on your ground, but someone will ask you what you're doing.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, you're too close to the property line or something like that. I don't want to start a tangent, but I just
don't get me started on people.
As I said that.
Listen, it'll all go back to the way it was whenever things happen like Mike was talking about. Whenever the end of the world happens, it'll all go back.
Mike.
You just wander around.
He'll be there with this mini 14.
Yeah. So he got a folding stock on his pistol grip.
Goes, this is fully automatic. I said, Mike, I believe you.
Yeah.
But I don't need to hear it now.
Right.
He's ready.
Well, it's been good talking to you. I don't know that I know you. You live.
You're a Musgrave, so I'm in the same room as a Musgrave and a Hutchcraft. So I've been keeping a close eye on both of them because I'm nervous. So, Wayne County boys for sure.
I've probably got. Well, I'd say even my youngest uncles are maybe older than you.
Yep.
Yeah, like Wilford would be the youngest of my uncles. Wilford Musgrave. My dad's George. I don't know if you know George.
I know these names.
Yeah,
George. I've heard all these names.
Yeah,
I don't know them personally, but I guarantee I've heard these names.
How old's your brother?
My brother is 11 months older than me.
That's right. He's 63.
Yes.
Okay. So my dad graduated. Well, my dad's 67 this year.
Okay.
So
my dad graduated in 73. So
your dad's older 70. Than my dad.
Yeah, my dad's like 72.
I graduated in 82.
Yeah, you guys are just the young pups.
Yeah.
So.
I was 2 years old, Rusty, when you graduated.
Now my knee hurts and my shoulder hurts, and I got to get Wes to get me a nice girl's bow so I can go back to the compound.
We got one out there that's got a girl's name on it.
Oh, well, I should get a discount on that.
Yeah. It's a good bow. It's a good bow.
I guarantee you, it's a lot faster and flatter shooting than my first bear Bruin that looked like he could throw an arrow.
We had a guy bring an old antique bear. What is that? Whitetail Hunter or something like that?
Whitetail 2.
Yeah.
This one may be before the Whitetail 2.
Oh, that was
Whitetail 1. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've been experimenting this year with recurve hunting, not full blown. I was hunting with a recurve, a little bit hunt with a compound, and spent all summer shooting a recurve, making myself halfway decent at it. And when that came in, I was like, man, I might try that, because it's like 40 some inches long, and I throw a knocking point on it and just shooting it off the shelf, and it don't have let off, but it's got more let off forgiveness than a recurve has, obviously. And I was back there shooting, and I was like, man, I want to do a couple hunts with this. I bet I can shoot this, gap shoot or instinctive shoot. Then I thought, well, I'm going to run them through the chronograph to see how fast they are. And my recurve was like 9 feet or 10 feet per second. So the first compounds is what I'm saying is potentially a bunch of them were slower.
Oh, they're slower
than the recurve bows.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but they could be more accurate.
I'll bring mine in. Wes, I seen it in the shed. It's still sitting there, the first one. But you know how much a hard time we got from the bow hunters? You think you had a bazooka. Heck with how compound treat us, because on my shoulder I have to use a crossbow a lot now. They get, which it's silly. We're all on the same team and hunting. We need to support each other. Don't get me started on that. But we got more grief from the old timers from the recurves. When we use compound bows, we was cheating and not real hunters.
Yeah.
That's how old I am.
Yeah. Now that's the compound and the
crossbow.
And the crossbow.
So when I hear it now, I thought, oh man, I am getting old, because I lived this once when I got a compound bow. I mean, they would get mad at you.
You've been through 2 cycles.
2 cycles, yeah. It's like,
if you go through another cycle,
I may, if my body will hold out, I'll be out there.
Yeah, I'd probably do.
I'll be that grouchy old man. What are you doing on my land?
What are you doing here? I was looking for a how you doing, not a what are you doing.
Yeah. What are you doing? I'm gonna start using that.
I'm thinking we could maybe make a t-shirt or something with that.
I would wear a t-shirt like that.
I don't know how you would convey it where people would understand it, but when hunting turned from how have you done or how you doing to what are you doing?
Yeah, that's the best statement I've heard all day. I'm going to remember that one too.
Well, I'm so glad the best statement you've heard all day was.
I tell you what,
I got it.
I don't get out much, but it's still the best one I heard.
Okay, well, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Well, are we done?
I think it's been
Rusty. It's been awesome.
It's been a treat.
I've enjoyed myself.
Yeah. It's been a treat.
I didn't know I was going to do all this talking. I thought I just kind of I did this and that's it. So
well, it's neat to talk to people that have gotten, how do I word this, out of this circle and got above the circle.
I feel
above the circle.
Very, very, very blessed with the opportunities that I had.
Because we didn't even cover. We talked a little bit for a show. You've lived in Alaska. You lived above the Arctic Circle in Alaska. You was in Maine for a little over a year. So you got to experience Maine. Yeah. We ended our conversation for the podcast, and I don't want to start the podcast all over, but we ended the conversation by you saying that you were living and working in Bermuda.
Yeah, I lived on the island 6 years. Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. So maybe we'll
literally made the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, you did.
You can laugh, but
Bermuda Triangle.
I fished in the Bermuda Triangle quite often, and I did see the electronics go haywire twice from Cecil that had the boat. He grew up on the island.
Yeah.
And I'd tap him on the shoulder. Yeah, it does it all the time. No aliens got me yet.
Yeah. Ain't that something? Something's going on there, ain't it?
Something.
That's interesting.
Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yes,
and I don't get out after dark very much because I'm one of them cranky old antisocial people. So
we didn't even introduce what's his name,
Paquito, and he's been good, extremely good.
Is it Paquito?
Paquito,
What's that mean?
little bit in Spanish. 'Cause
Little
he's
bit.
half teacup. He's half teacup Chihuahua and half Shih Tzu.
There's Paquito. Everybody didn't even know. He's
And
like,
he is an awesome hunting dog. He's
Look at
like
him. He's like,
premier.
What's up,
He's
Paquito?
caught I don't know how many moles, and
Yeah.
he chases squirrels.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's not worth a whole lot, to be honest. But
he's good company though, right?
he's good company. Yeah, I like him better than most people.
Yeah, he's looking at us like, this just got
It's
real.
past his bedtime.
Yeah, he's
Wow,
probably like, what are we
you're a
doing here?
star.
Oh,
Well,
man.
it's been good having you on,
I
Rusty.
appreciate it.
It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
good time.
And always know you can hang out at Ultra Products.
Oh, I got to bring crossbow, get a string in, and
Yeah.
I got to find out what kind of. I don't want to say girls bow, but I'm gonna look at the one with the name on it. No,
Easier draw and bow.
yeah, the right show. This
Yeah.
is getting old business is for the bird, but
It's
it beats
just-
alternative. I
Yeah.
figure.
That's
That's
what
right.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. Keep moving.
Yep.
So that's it.
Hey, next week we have Brian Bennett on.
Brian's coming back.
Yep.
Is Judy
Brian-
going to be with him?
Judy's going to be here, and Natasha is going to be here.
Oh,
And I
and
went
so-
to school with Brian and Judy both
yeah.
before they was married. Before this,
So-
Brian and Judy,
Yeah. It's Brian.
and his brother Tracy's one of my best friends.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we know
Best
Tracy
man
well.
in his
Yeah.
wedding. Yep,
That's awesome.
No kidding.
his older brother.
Small world.
Well, we should have crossed tracks long before, but
Yeah.
I'm glad we've crossed them now.
That's right. Well, they're going to be on next week, so they always provide for an interesting show when they come on.
Yeah.
I think they're going to talk about some of Natasha's recent hunts.
Really?
Yep, and they just came back from New Mexico just in this fall. They had a really good elk hunt down there. So
I lived in Albuquerque for a year.
you are fascinating. Oh man, you've been everywhere.
You're like that. I don't know the joke, but have you heard the joke about Big Jim? How he'd been everywhere, known everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that
And
joke.
they said, well, at the end, they said, well, you don't know the Pope. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, yeah, I know the Pope. And he said, I'll walk out on the balcony with him when he waves at the people. And this guy's standing in the crowd, and the Pope and Big Jim walk out on the balcony. And he's like, I can't believe it. Can you believe that? And that guy's like, yeah, who is that up there with Big Jim?
Yeah.
Everybody knew Big Jim.
Everybody.
That's funny.
So anyway, it's kind of a preacher joke.
We appreciate everybody watching this evening. And if you guys would, make sure you like, share, and comment. All those things. Make sure that the podcast goes to the top and people keep watching it. So we appreciate it. And until next week, this is up for discussion. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.